want to invite you on a journey of entering into the real stories of the families, staff, and children that you support here in Honduras. We know that we'd love to bring you all here to Honduras, but it's probably not possible. So instead, we're going to try our best to bring the stories of these amazing heroes to you. This season, we want you to be able to see for yourself the impact that your support of Identity Mission is truly having.
So this year, throughout December, as we run our annual end of the year giving campaign that's called Join the Story, we will be sharing people stories through videos, emails, and regular posts. And to get us started, Tara, why don't you tell us your story, how you first began to work in orphan care?
So I first came to Honduras as a teacher, and shortly afterwards started volunteering in a couple of the orphanages that were in the area. And I continued to volunteer in those orphanages for 2 years while I lived there, and I loved it. It was a very fulfilling experience because I began to go weekly, and every time I would arrive, the kids would run up, shout my name, hug me, cling to me. And for me, I really started to think I was making a difference in their lives, going to play with them, giving them attention and love. And so it was a very fulfilling experience, and it's what got me started in the desire to help serve orphans here in Honduras. And so after that 2 year of time I served on the mission field as a teacher, I went back home to the States. And after being in the States a little while, missing the kids, I also began to realize that I had left them alone, and the impact I thought I had really hadn't made a difference for them, not long term anyway. And so there started kind of the journey of trying to figure out what I could do to really change their circumstances, impact their lives long term. Since obviously I couldn't, be their mother full time or provide a family or love for them full time. And I hadn't made the difference I thought I had. And so shortly afterwards, as you know, Jorge and I started Identity Mission, and we started the foster care program and family preservation program that you all support now. And it was then that I began to realize the impact I wanted to have was totally different than what it looked like initially. And so as we have our events or do things with the foster families or the family preservation families, none of the kids know my name. None of them come and hug me because I'm a total stranger for them. They don't need me to put a Band-Aid on their boo-boos. They don't need me to hold them when they cry because they have someone. They have their foster mom and dad, or they have their biological parents that we've been able to support so they can stay home. And so even though it may not be as fulfilling initially, because I don't have that interaction with the kids, I do know that now we're able, through the programs of Identity Mission, to provide the impact and the long-term change that I had initially hoped for these kiddos, these vulnerable kids in Honduras. And so that's how I got to the work I am in today, directing here in Honduras Identity Mission. And that's my story of how I got to this point.
So before doing full-time orphan care ministry, if you would have told me that I was going to be doing this, I would have said that you're crazy. That's why I like to believe that God had to be very sneaky with me to get me to do this kind of work. When I met Tara and heard her vision about orphan care in Honduras and the work that needed to be done, I loved it. I believed in it fully, and I support her work 100%. Notice that I said her work because even though I believed in it, I just wanted to be like the behind the scenes guy. The local guy that knows the culture, the translator, the driver. So we would go to a children's home and do programs and activities for them. And after everything was finished, the kids wanted to hang out with me. And I remember specifically this one day, this one place where I was just behind the scenes, like I said, and just leaning on a wall, and I can close my eyes and see what was going on that day. And they were all doing this activity, and they finished, and all the kids start walking to me, and then hanging out with me, and we play soccer and we play basketball and we talk about soccer. And this became like what happened every time wherever we went. This would happen over and over again, and we became friends with these kids, and I started believing in it more and more, and this reality of our orphan crisis that I was aware of before, but it was not like it was now. It became personal because they were my friends now. It became personal. I needed to do something about it, and it became my passion. And I love these kids. They're adults, some of them now. Um, and this is how I became involved in orphan care ministry, and that's how I'm part of the story.
So that is a small piece of our story and how it has brought us to where we are today, leading Identity Mission here in Honduras. But it is important to note that many people were critical to that story coming to pass. If it wasn't for those who supported us, taught us, prayed with us, our story could have turned out quite differently. That is why we want to encourage you this month to join in this story, not only hearing from these individuals, but also giving toward our campaign goal of $150,000. Your giving is what allows Identity Mission to support the families and caseworkers that make it possible for children to be cared for well in families, because if it weren't for each and every partner in church, you guys, that has joined us in this work, locally and internationally, these stories of these children would have also turned out quite differently.
So be on the look for the stories that we will share this month. And please share your story as well of your passion of being part of the change in the system with us by encouraging others to get to know the work of Identity Mission and how together our stories join can impact a child's life by preventing them from ever having to enter an orphanage and instead receiving family care through our foster care and family preservation programs. Thank you for joining the story this month.